What up, everybody?
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the next episode of Don't Do That.
Don't do that. I'm going
Right.
to say don't do that to Dakota.
Oh, yeah, because we got a new cat.
So, yeah, let's random moment. We have a new cat groomer that my son just bought, and he thought it was funny to grab the top of my head. So now I have cat hair on the top of my head.
Awesome sauce, guys.
Awesome sauce. Moving right along.
All right, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and start off with me today.
Let's go.
Because we have the rules that are set up now. They're put into place for ICE agents in Chicago.
Uh-oh. This ought to be interesting.
Federal agents are not allowed to use rubber bullets, tear gas, and other chemical munitions at protesters in Chicago following the lawsuit.
Is that after they hit the one preacher in the head with a pepper ball?
Yep, right in the face.
Yeah. About that.
Following a lawsuit from press associations and faith leaders, making it known that the Trump administration is using a pattern of extreme brutality.
Yeah.
District Judge Sarah Ellis blocked the federal officers from using riot control weapons and other force against clearly identified members of the press, as well as protesters and faith leaders who aren't posing any immediate threat to law enforcement. That includes, those people dressed in little
chicken outfits.
Them are not violent protesters. You guys
let you know they're not violent.
are pansies. And for obvious reasons, Ellis also specifically blocked officers from firing munitions that strike the head, neck, groin, spine, or female breast, or striking any person with a vehicle. With a vehicle, you guys, really?
Unfortunately, that has to be said.
As well as pulling or shoving a person to the ground, tackling or body slamming demonstrators who aren't harming others. The order follows what reporters and demonstrators that federal agents indiscriminately fired on protesters, including an incident captured on video where officers defending an immigration and customs enforcement facility struck the head of a Presbyterian minister with pepper bullets that knocked him to the ground. Illinois District Judge April Perry is considering a lawsuit from state and city officials who accused the administration of relying on flimsy pretexts to send troops into Chicago, where protests erupted after federal agents repeatedly shot chemical munitions at groups that included media and legal observers, while dozens of masked armed federal agents paraded through downtown Chicago. Now, on Sunday, a Trump-appointed judge argued that relatively small protests in Portland did not justify the use of federalized forces that imperil Oregon's sovereignty. Now, a 3-judge federal appeals court panel, including 2 judges appointed by Trump, appeared prepared Thursday to strike down the order, teeing up a potential Supreme Court battle over the president's authority to federalize troops. Then you have one of the taint lickers, Eric MacArthur, that told the panel Thursday, "These are violent people. This is unsustainable. This is unsustainable. The president is entitled to say enough is enough and bring in the National Guard." Non-violent protesters, you guys.
Not when he has
These are non-violent protesters.
Say it again.
Non-violent. This lawsuit from the Chicago reporters, protesters, and faith leaders accuses the Trump administration of unconstitutional threats to their First Amendment rights and religious freedoms with so-called less lethal weapons causing serious injuries, while some are being randomly singled out for arrest and detained inside the ICE facility, where they are detained incommunicado for hours. The lawyers for the victims states, no legitimate purpose exists for this brutality or for these arrests. The officers are not physically threatened. No government property is threatened. Defendants are acting to intimidate and silence the press and civilians engaged in protected First Amendment activities. The order from Ellis states, federal agents are prevented from using any riot control weapon without at least 2 separate warnings. It blocks from seizing or arresting any nonviolent protester who is not resisting a lawful crowd dispersal order, unless there is specific probable cause to believe that the individual has committed a crime for which an arrest is warranted. All federal agents must also have visible identification that is affixed to their uniforms or helmets and prominently displayed, including
so no more masks,
including when wearing riot gear,
Show
unless
your face, you
they are
coward.
unless they are undercover. Now, Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, very laughable, stated, "The agency is taking reasonable and constitutional measures to uphold the rule of law and protect our officers. We remind members of the media to exercise caution as they cover these violent riots, which are not violent. I'm tired of you guys. And remind journalists that covering unlawful activities, lawful protests,
we're going to speak on that,
in the field does come with risks. We know that. Though our officers take every reasonable precaution to mitigate those dangers to those exercising protected First Amendment rights. Anyone who actively obstructs law enforcement in the performance of their sworn duties will face consequences, which could include arrest." Which I understand that, but there's a difference between arrest and brutality.
They don't know where the line is, man. They don't know where the line is. That's the problem. Is Donald Trump doesn't know where the line is, and so those people under him don't know where the line is.
They wouldn't care anyways. They don't care anyways.
So my segment is called "What's on the Front of Our Shirts." My segment is called FDT. Foxtrot Delta Tango. And these shirts are available on Amazon. Everybody go grab one, because we need to all just be under his skin for the next year until the midterm election. Trump sat with Zelensky, and I noticed something that he said in one of the clips. There was a clip where he was talking to Zelensky, and they were speaking about wartime. And he made a comment where he said, "So that's very interesting. During wartime, you can't have an election, huh?" He said, "That's very interesting." What I took from that was he does not plan on leaving the White House. Which is why I keep telling everybody, black, white, brown, whatever color you are, to not move on emotion and to stay in the house unless absolutely necessary. Do not inconvenience yourself or your family, because that's what he wants. He doesn't care who does it, but he wants someone to give him an excuse so that he can enact the Insurrection Act, martial law, which during martial law, which would be considered wartime, we wouldn't be able to have an election. Get it? Do you see where I'm going with this? Is it computing to you yet?
No, it's not.
The second that we get too boisterous out there, the second that we do too much to where he feels like the police, I felt my life was in danger. Pew, pew, pew. That's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to pull from the white supremacist playbook, force you into a corner, and when you start swinging, "Oh my God, you're violent. I'm going to call in the military." And during the military time, if there's something going on like that, we can't have an election. Midterm elections? What are you talking about? We can't do that. It's wartime. Which is why I tell everybody, sit your ass down. Like we've been sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
He is eager to include the Insurrection Act into the playbook so that the enemy from within, air quotes all over the place, which is his little slogan that he's been pushing on y'all over and over and over again, so that the dummies who are actually hypnotized by his bullshit will believe it. There's an enemy from within. It's the blacks. It's the immigrants. They're the enemy from within. And then once he programs your little peanut mind to think that there is an actual enemy from within, then he enacts the Insurrection Act, takes over the fucking country, and goes unchallenged, sits in the president until his fat ass falls out dead and the portobello shrivels into his balls. So I'm just saying.
Well, damn.
The architect of 2025, Project 2025, is now his personal advisor during this shutdown. A shutdown that he was almost gleeful in saying, let me get together my nasal Donald Trump. You know, a lot of the things that we would get rid of during the shutdown, this is really bad that they're doing this because, a lot of the things that we could get rid of would be things that they like, things that Democrats like. Like, I don't know, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, or civil rights, or I don't know, the Department of Education, or anything else in the greatest hits of Project 2025 that he's already working on. How's about that? So, he wants to get rid of things like equal employment opportunity, the right to choose for you ladies. He wants to get rid of that. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, so let's talk about Trump 2028. I kind of already covered that, though. If he gets us so pissed off to where he has to sign the Insurrection Act, which he's already threatened that twice as well. Well, if he feels threatened, like these cops that shoot these black people, then what he's going to do is he's going to pull from the white supremacist handbook, and he's going to throw the military in the mix so that he doesn't have to leave the Oval Office. It's a very ingenious, evil plan from Cheeto Palpatine. Now, his health probably won't allow him to stay in office, but he's being led around by the real villains in all of this. Because, he's a puppet, and even though his family members and his former teachers have said he's a fucking idiot, he's dumb as shit, can't even read. And so the true architects of this nightmare that is Project 2025 and all the things that are going on, because they're just pushing his old ass around. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. They're just pushing him around. He's just a figurehead for the racist white nationalist movement. Stephen Miller, that clown, and Russ Vought. Those are the architects. Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, they are pawns. They are puppets. They were hired because they're disposable meat. They don't have any credentials. They're nobodies. They're somebody that Trump can say, oh, you're not doing what I say, I'll kick your ass to the curb yet, which is why they're so loyal to him. Kash Patel, I have no idea. But this is the thing about Kash Patel. You're not white, buddy. You're not part of the group. Remember that part of X-Men when they noticed that Mystique wasn't actually Wolverine? You're not part of the group. You the wrong color, bro. They gonna turn on you instantly. They gonna probably throw you to the wolves. Everything that's bad, they gonna blame on you because you're the one odd man out that's in his little circle that isn't
and you're
pearly
in charge
white.
Of the Epstein files, bro.
Let me see. Did I have anything else to say on that? Yeah, I did. I said he's probably got something on Kash Patel because he's not white, so he's not in the club. I said because they're nobodies, malleable and easy to manipulate. They're loyalists. They're loyalists to him, not to the United States of America. So yeah, y'all are screwed. We're screwed if people don't go vote. So
exactly.
I'll get back with you on my little segment after she does her segment.
All right. So, who remembers? I mean, it's been a minute. It's been about that time for him to get out. But in 2011, there was a gym teacher who repeatedly raped a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, that's right up Trump's alley. You know the MAGAs love to touch the kids.
Oh yeah. You think
that's a good segue?
You think he probably got pardoned or something? No, he's dead.
Oh, was it street
dead.
Justice?
It definitely was.
Good job.
He was murdered in prison by another convicted murderer. All right.
He figured he wasn't going nowhere. He could do a little good while he in there, huh?
In North Carolina, Green Correctional Institution, Ernest Nichols, 60, was found dead inside his cell. He was pronounced dead at 7:22 a.m. The prison was a minimum security prison with dormitory-style housing. You know, the place where we would, give pedophiles, a nice place to sleep. All right, so, Ernest was convicted of statutory rape in 2011 and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. He was set to be released in September of 2027. Prisoner said, "No, the fuck you not."
But wait, didn't Ted Cruz say we should stop going after pedophiles?
Well, the convicted murderer said, "No, the fuck we're not." So
he must not have got the memo from Cruz.
The hero in this thing is going to be Wilbert Baldwin.
Oh,
he's 41 years old.
Wilbert
Baldwin.
Oh, I know why you mad.
41 years old and was previously convicted of second-degree murder in 2010 in Richmond County. Hold on, guys.
You gotta let Tom out. Tom is bullying us right now. The cat.
Get out of my damn room.
He is like, look, y'all locked me in here. Y'all record. I want to go.
Anywhoozle. Where was I? All right. So, he was already convicted of second-degree murder in 2010 in Richmond County. Ernest worked for Ranson Middle School in Charlotte, North Carolina, as a gym teacher for 14 years. After the allegations were made, he was suspended without pay and banned from the grounds. The teacher, who described himself as a pig, his 15-year-old victim repeatedly in watching his teen victim have consensual sex with others. He had been posing as his teenage son on Facebook and had sent the teen girl sexually explicit messages. He also made inappropriate requests such as asking her to make up sexual stories and letting him know when she got into the shower. This man even tried to get rid of the evidence by driving down Highway 73 and threw the video recordings into the woods. Like that was going to save his ass. And it did not save his ass, quite literally, because he is dead. That man was in a low security prison for pedophilia to begin with. Why he was allowed to be in a pampered cell is beyond me.
Well, see, you know what?
But justice was ultimately served.
I've been thinking about this. Like, okay, let's say that the Epstein files were to come out. Trump's on. He gets impeached.
Only time will tell.
I'm just saying this is all completely theoretical.
Hopefully
he gets impeached. He gets impeached, and then J.D. Vance would be the president.
Damn.
Okay, so then here's the thing. That's only the number one thing that's bad, because J.D. Vance would be the president. I think he's a snake. He called Trump a Nazi and everything else, Hitler, everything else, and now he's sitting right there alongside him. So he's a snake. Man. I think he's just waiting on the old man to die so he can take over and do his own thing. But Trump is 78 years old, so even if he were found guilty, like how much jail time could he really do? I guarantee, as rich as he is, like my mom used to say, that motherfucker is rich as cream. He's rich as cream. So how much jail time would he really do? Would he even really do any actual jail time, or would they put him on house arrest? And if he was on house arrest,
is a prime example, perfect example, has cancer of some sort, all the medical issues or whatever, he gets to spend his time in the hospital.
So he's in the hospital instead of actual jail.
Yeah,
but see, Trump is,
and he's still waiting trial and everything.
He's flirting with dementia, is from what I've seen.
I feel he's flirting with more than just dementia. So.
But I mean, we gotta look at this, man. I don't think he would actually do any jail time. He deserves to do jail time. He deserves to be punished.
Well, you know what? I feel like since they want to live in those times, they want to live in the past. They want to live like it's back in the 1900s. Then guess what? You get a 1900 sentencing.
He would never.
I mean, you guys call.
He would never survive it.
You guys call. Well, you're not supposed to because it's the penalty.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He would never.
It's the penalty. No, it's the ultimate penalty.
He wouldn't get a year. He wouldn't last a year.
The ultimate penalty. You get taken out. You get taken out. You get taken out. Period.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
You get the death penalty. No, it wouldn't even be them. Nope, absolutely not. We're just gonna do it old-fashioned way.
Now, this one right here is a hot one.
Am I getting ready?
Huh?
Am I getting ready for this?
You want me to?
We gonna get into it, right?
Oh yeah. You're getting ready for it. You're getting ready for it. So what we're talking about is a conversation that is had a lot, and it is really a conversation that I'm going to try and keep a calm tone when I'm addressing y'all. I'm going to try and keep a calm tone because this is a triggering conversation.
I can be the mediator.
A triggering conversation. Most of the time when people discuss race and we discuss slavery, if I discuss slavery with someone who is white, they will deflect and they will say, well, there was slaves everywhere. Everyone had slaves. They had slaves in here. They had slaves over there and to and fro and hither and yon.
Right, okay.
And the question that I pose is, were we slaves there? Or were we slaves to white men here? Not over there, where they had them over there.
Here.
Not over there, 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 not swept under the rug where it makes you feel better about it. But here. That's what we're talking about. When you say, you're not my enemy, and you say you didn't have slaves because you're 28, 30 years old, my answer to that is, I know that. I'm not an idiot. I know you wasn't around in 1865.
Right.
I know you wasn't around in 1965. I'm simply saying, although it is a heavy burden to have the original sin of the United States on your shoulders, because people that look like the person you see in the mirror were responsible for chattel slavery. Not saying that you were, but the systems that were put in place in 1865, in 1965, this entire timeline benefit people that look like you and not people that look like me. I just recently, before we started doing this episode, was on my TikTok going back and forth with someone who probably wears a different shirt than this, was like, oh, how can I be the victim today? I'll tell you how you can be the victim. You can go outside and you can wonder whether or not you're going to make it home because of your skin color, because of the racial prejudice and ignorance of people that look like the people that you see when you stand in front of the mirror. Then you'll see what a victim feels like. Or you can do what I told him. You can put the Twitter fingers away and say what you're saying to a black person in person and see what a victim really is. But kidnapped from their land, placed in shackles, brought over here on boats where they were made to sit in their own urine and feces on the journey here, sold like animals and renamed by their owners like they were dogs or cats, raped by the slave masters to break their spirits, men and women. And it was called buck breaking.
This act of buck breaking, or also known as bot bursting, involves white slave owners and merchants raping a male slave in front of the public or the entire plantation to embarrass him and cause him to feel less than a man. This heinous act became popular when there were increased cases of slave rebellion. The men would first be stripped naked and whipped in the presence of a crowd, and after that, raped by the slave owners or merchants as a warning to other slaves. The targets were mainly the brave men who were leaders in the plantations. Now, to make the matters more gruesome and unbearable, the slave owners made the African slave men with families have sex with each other in front of their families, or they were raped in the presence of their sons. Many of the men killed themselves or ran away after this. Buck breaking started from ships and continued in plantations. It was a way of stripping the male slaves of their pride and power to protect their families, and it was also a way for slave owners to show dominance.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
And so, in Roots, they chopped off Kunta Kinte's foot because he kept trying to run away.
Or we can go into breeding farms too. That's even better.
Oh, no. We'll do that another app.
All right.
But picnics, the word picnic was derived from pick a nigga. And what did they used to do at these picnics, I wonder? Hang black men, mutilate them after church service.
Where do you think motherfucker came from, too?
Where did it come from?
Breeding farms.
Breeding farms. And what, pray tell, were the white slave masters doing to the black people on those breeding farms? Just pray tell.
The breeding farms were a way of slave owners to replenish their black workforce, I wasn't going to say it, due to the abolishment of slavery and the reduction of slaves coming from Africa. Many slaves became confident and rebelled against their owners. Many of them escaped. This caused damage to slave trade, and plantation owners did not have enough human labor to meet the market demands to produce. So they invented breeding farms that exploited the sexuality of African slave men. At the breeding farms, the strong and healthy enslaved African men were forced to sleep with enslaved African women to get them pregnant. The men could lay with 6 women in a day just to increase the probability of the women getting pregnant. The slave owners did not care if the women were mothers or sisters to the men. They just mated them. This was the origin of the word motherfucker. Many of the men died on the breeding farms due to sexual exhaustion.
So, the point I was getting to, because
Sorry.
she's no, that was great. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. Now, none of that happened to us anywhere but here. So when people say they had slaves all over, it wasn't just white men, it was people did it to us, and here we are talking about.
Actually, no, buck breaking did happen in the Caribbean. Caribbean areas, Jamaica and whatnot, that is why homosexuality in those areas are very, 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 very frowned upon. So I will have to correct you in that part.
All right.
But it started here. All these places that you want to compare and say, hey, by the way, slaves were here, slaves were there, slaves were this. Yes, we made some into eunuchs and this, that, the other thing.
That doesn't
but
matter.
where
to us.
do you think they got it from? Who do you think perfected it? But again, it happened here.
Here. So the next time you have a conversation and you're trying to defend the honor of, I get it. Let me give you an example. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say his name because I'm not about to put him out here, but he's a white guy. And we were talking, and we kick it, and I was telling him how there's good and bad in every race, and there are some black people that that's too much. You're doing too much. And there's probably some white people that you like. Yeah, they doing too much. And he said, yeah, Rob, you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. He said, but think about it like this. And he said this. He said, with everything that you might have on your shoulders about the ghetto black people that you don't really mess with because you're not ghetto, think about what we have on our shoulders. Slavery,
racism, pedophilia.
He's looking at it as the stain of the conversation where me and him was talking about it. He's looking at it as the stain that they try to put on us as we're this and we're that, hyperpensity for violence and all that. That's a stain that they try to put on us. Mm-hmm. But the stain that is on them is an actual stain. They did that. It's not that we're saying, oh, they're violence. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. No. Look at the numbers. Who are the serial killers?
It's sad to say, but it's fact.
The shooters.
I mean, you can't.
Sharpshooters. The pop, pop. Who are the pew-pewers? It's not like we're calling them and saying that they were enslavers and that they're racist and they're not. Look at the systems. Oh, if you put yourself up by your bootstraps, you can do just as good as any white guy. That's bullshit.
Because you have to work twice as harder, if not 3 times as harder. And that's facts.
You're going to get an opportunity to get a better house than me, period. You're not going to get pulled over by the police as easy or as often, period. You're not going to get looked at weird when you go in certain places. That's the crazy thing, is that when a white person is somewhere with a bunch of black people, we don't pay y'all no mind. It's when we're outnumbered by you that we get nervous and we notice that y'all are eyeballing. It's different. Just have these conversations. They are uncomfortable conversations.
They're not supposed to be comfortable.
We're not supposed to be comfortable. In order for us to get a rapport with each other, we have to be able to have these conversations without you getting in your feelings, bitching up, and feeling like I'm talking about you, when if it does not apply, you should let it fly and understand that I'm talking about the overall race. If you're not a racist piece of shit, then I'm not talking about you. If you're not standing there being quiet while they're doing this Project 2025 shit, I'm not talking about you. But I am talking about Stephen A. Smith. With your platform, with your voice, with your celebrity, you could have easily kept your mouth shut as far as talking about Jasmine Crockett, saying she's not doing her job, saying she's this and she's that.
She is one person. Why ain't you sitting there running your mouth about the Democrats that didn't even bother to try and impeach him?
I take Stephen A. Smith's rant and make it akin to Robert Griffin talking about Angel Reese, where you said, as a black man, you could have kept your mouth shut. Well, if I'm talking to you, Stephen A. Smith, I'm telling you, you could have kept your mouth shut too. You didn't have to talk about that, Queen. You're making your millions. You're kissing boots and kissing ass. You're making millions. I understand. I get it. But you don't have to talk about a queen to make yourself look better. That's my best Stephen A. I'm not really a comedian. I can't really do it like that. But you get the point. You making your money. I get it. You're a Republican. I get it.
We need Godfrey for that.
But don't forget, they're not going to let you claim exempt when they enact Project 2025. Rich niggas is going down just like poor niggas. So get your ass on the right side and shut your mouth talking about black queens.
Exactly.
Hello.
All right, guys. Thank you for sitting out here with us and whatnot on this Friday. I hope you guys have a safe weekend. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you next time on Mad as Hell Monday. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and get notified. See you later. Bye.